Hey, this is Meredith from vidpromom.com and I'm back. So Halloween is coming up and I was trying to think of some kind of creative ways to edit videos to make them look kind of creepy. I haven't really delved. I don't feel like I'm using that word right. I haven't really done any tutorials on specific video editing techniques, and probably the number one reason for that is because I'm not a professional video editor. I literally just make it up as I go along. So with Halloween right around the corner, which is my favorite day of the year because it's my birthday, I thought I would maybe show you a few editing tricks, editing techniques on how to get your video to look really creepy. All right, so I have Adobe Premiere Pro open here, but most of the things that I'm going to show you, you can do in any video editor. They're not that advanced. There's only one little advanced thing that I'll show you, but for the most part, the bulk of it can be done in any video editing software. So if you're not using Premiere Pro, don't worry. I'm sure you'll be able to do most of these things in your video editor of choice. All right, so I don't actually watch scary movies or horror movies or anything like that, like pretty much ever. But every once in a while I see something kind of creepy and I wonder, how did they do that? How did they actually edit the footage to do that, to like make that effect? And so I'm going to go over some of the things that I have figured out after doing some playing around with my own footage and doing a little bit of Googling. So what I have done is I got my 5-year-old to go outside. I told her that I needed her to do some creepy things, and it's really hard to get a 5-year-old who's generally pretty happy and smiley to do creepy things. So you will notice there are some smiles on her face where she was supposed to be being kind of creepy and serious. But I took my GoPro outside. We have a garage that's like falling apart, so it's creepy without even having to edit the thing. Okay, so plus it's fall and it's almost Halloween, so there's leaves, and I took her outside. I used my GoPro. I shot some footage at 1080 30 frames per second. I have some fairly, just regular footage. She's just collecting leaves and I'm just talking to her, and it's not scary or creepy at all, really. So let's just watch it from the beginning. All right, so obviously there is no storyline here. I actually wasn't trying to create a creepy movie. I was just trying to get some footage so that I could add some creepy techniques and kind of break things down and figure out what we could do to make our stuff creepy. So it's not there's no storyline. It's not a real movie. So these are just some things. So one of the things that I found out after doing a little bit of Googling is that one of the kind of creepy effects that you can do, you actually need to think about it when you're shooting. So what you can do is have somebody walk towards the camera and sort of pretend that they're in slow motion. That way their movements are slowed down, but they're also kind of unnatural and creepy, of course. And then when you go to edit that clip, so they're trying to walk in slow motion, you go to edit that clip and you put that clip in like a fast forward, you speed it up. So I did that a little bit here, but I also chopped it up a little bit. So instead of her having the entire clip, she's walking towards the camera, I took that footage and chopped it up a little bit. All right, so that's one thing that you can do. The other thing, obviously, that you can tell from my footage is that I've adjusted the color. I'm using Premiere Pro. What I did was I opened up the Lumetri color, and so for each of my clips, basically what I did was brought down the saturation almost zero. It's at 24. You can do this can bring down the saturation in probably any video editing software that you're using, whether it's a really great one or whether it's a freebie. You can bring down the saturation, I think, in all of them. So what that does is it desaturates all of the colors and brings it down to basically being black and white. So I brought it down almost to 0. This is what it looks like at 0. But I wanted to have a little bit of color left. And then I brought my tint over to green a little bit, not all the way, but just a little bit, so that it just adds a little bit of kind of a weird atmosphere, kind of a feeling to it. And then I played with my exposure, contrast, highlight, shadows, whites, and blacks until I found something that I liked. So there's really no formula for that. So play with things. If you want the dark things to be really dark, then play with your shadows and your blacks. And if you want your whites to maybe not be so white and bright, then you can bring those down too. But just play with those settings. There's really no formula. Just play with them to just kind of get the look that you're going for. So this is what I did. Brought down the saturation, gave it a little bit of a green tint, and then I played with my exposure and contrast and all of that stuff. And the other thing, obviously, is that I have some creepy music. So I'm going to show you what music I chose and how I chose it and everything in just a minute. But I want to keep talking about this editing here. So another thing you can do is do some things in reverse. So here's a little spot where I took a little part of a clip, and you can see down here, I took a little part of a clip. This is all the same clip, and I repeated it 4 times, but once it's going reverse and then forward and then reverse and forward. Let's watch it. So I don't know if that's creepy, but it's creepy to me because it's completely unnatural. I think the thing we're going for with creepiness and spookiness is that anything that looks unnatural is going to look creepy, especially when you add in the music and take out all of the colors, right? So anything you can do that looks unnatural is gonna work out well. All right, so she was throwing leaves here, and all I did was reverse it. So she threw the leaves in the air. All I had to do was reverse it to make it look weird and unnatural. So another thing I did, and this is something that you may not be able to do in all programs, but obviously you can do it in Premiere Pro, and I know that you could probably do it in Final Cut Pro. I don't know about any other programs that can do this, but what I did was I happened to have some footage where she's over here by this tree, so she's way off to the right side of the frame. I'm going to mute my music for a minute. She's way off to the side of the frame, right? And then I happen to have footage where she's kind of in the middle of the frame and walking towards the camera and doing things. So what I did was I cropped some footage so that I had her in the clip basically twice. So I want you to watch what I did here. All right, so there's some things that I could do to fine tune this, but what I did was I took some of the footage of her walking towards the camera and I cropped it. I cropped all around it so that it was overlaid over top of the footage where she is over here by this tree. So let me zoom in real quick. I also threw, now these are really short clips here, so I threw these cross dissolve transitions on there so that they weren't so choppy, so they kind of fade in and fade out real quick. So it just so happened, and I didn't plan this, it just so happened that as I was setting up my camera, she's over here by the tree, and then I'm talking to her, and I'm telling her hey, I need you to go back here. There's a bucket back there. And I was like, I need you to go stand by that bucket. She turned around and looked at the bucket, and then she kind of looked back at me and looked at the camera. It just so happened that the way she's positioned in the frame and the way she's positioned for some of these other clips and the way she turns her head and everything, that I thought, hey, this would be a good idea to make things a little bit creepy. So I made it look like she sees somebody behind her walking towards her. She turns and looks, right? And so it just fades in, fades out real quick. All right, so I want to show you exactly what I did. So over here, I just kind of simplified things a little bit. I deleted the audio track because that's just looks confusing. So we have a video track here, V1. This is our main video. This is the clip of her over here on the right side of the frame. And then V2, right above that, I have a couple of little clips, which is the clip of her walking towards the camera. So we have these two clips, and one of them in certain sections is getting overlaid over top of this main clip down here. So if I make this V2 track invisible and I play it, it's just her. Okay, now if we make that top track visible again and make the bottom one invisible, and then we watch it from there. Right? So you can see how the actual clip, the frame of that clip has been cropped. So since the camera didn't move when we were shooting this, I didn't move the camera. So the tree and the ground and the sky and the garage and everything is all in the exact same place. Literally the only thing moving in either of those clips is my daughter, and maybe some leaves are in different spots too because she walked through them. But since those are the only things moving, I can overlay them like that and make it look like she's in the same frame. So let's take a look at exactly what I did to crop. So I'm going to move one of these clips over here so that we can kind of see what I'm doing here. So we have this cross dissolve transition. I'm deleting that because that's only there so that it just kind of has a little fade in and fade out real quick. There's such short clips that it doesn't really matter. But so this is what I have going on here. I've got my clip selected. And so she's standing there. This is only a few frames long. She's just moving her leg and her arm. And you can kind of see when I switch back and forth between these, you can kind of see the difference here. You can sort of see what's going on if you're paying attention to those details. So you can see this is only a few frames long. And it's completely, this whole entire clip is completely covering up that main clip, that one where she's over here by the tree. So we're completely covering that whole thing right now. So what I want to do is add the crop effect. So in the effects panel, I just do a quick search for crop, and then I find the crop and I drag it down and I add it to that one clip, and then nothing's going to change because we have to come over here to the effects control panel down here to crop, and we have left, top, right, and bottom crops. So what I need to do is, so let's say from the left, we're at 0%. So we're not cropped at all. So I'm going to take my 0% from the left and I'm going to increase it, and you can see what's happening, right? So I could crop her out completely. I could crop just to here. I could crop somewhere in the middle of the garage. I want to put it somewhere around here where it's not going to be super obvious. So maybe like right there. And then do the same thing from the right. And then as I do this, it's going to kind of reveal what's underneath this clip, right? Because we have that main clip down there. So as you can see, we now have the same child twice in our clip. And if I play it, you can kind of see it So she pops on the screen and pops off. So I just basically, I took the same exact clip. These two clips are identical. Took one, copied it over here, and just made just one little space so that she's kind of flashing in between there. And then I just added a little bit of a longer of the clip, spread it out a little bit, and so that it would just give a little bit of a different effect there. All right, so that's how I did the crop. So let's talk about music. A huge part of creepy stuff is going to be creepy music, right? So you'll notice that I edited it so that at the end, let's watch it. So you'll notice that at the end where the music kind of comes up and then it just sounds scary, that I purposefully put this clip here, because it just seemed like a good fit. Right. So, and she's not doing anything creepy. She's just, I told her to point over there, and then I told her to look up to the sky. And I slowed it down a little bit, I think there. And then she jumps up, right? So there's nothing really creepy going on, but the music really makes you think that something creepy is going on. And that's really the whole point with all of this editing. So the music that I chose, I downloaded from Audio Jungle. It's called Supernatural Halloween Intro. So I'll put a link below to that exact song. But really all you have to do is you can just do a search. I think I searched for Supernatural. You do a search on Audio Jungle, Supernatural, and then it'll just give you a bunch of different things. Some of them are sound effects, some of them are actual songs. Like the thing that I used is just a little like a 30-second little music thing. I don't even know if it's really considered a song. So it's just background music. So all you have to do is just search for these things. Do a search for Halloween. There's some Halloween music that is like a tad bit creepy, but also more upbeat and not so like supernatural sounding. So you can check those out. The prices on these things range anywhere from $1 for actual just like sound effects all the way to $12, $19. So you can also go to incompetech.com. I'll also put a link below there where you can find completely free music, and all you have to do is search for things. Let's see if he has anything. Oops, if I spell supernatural right, that would probably help. Let's see what he has for anything supernatural sounding. So these things are free. Anything from Incompetech is free to use, but you do have to attribute where you got the music from in the description of your video or in the video itself. So I actually have an entire video devoted to background music, which I will link below or up high or over to the left or right or wherever it's going to pop up. So if you are not sure how the whole music thing works with background music, or anything like that, then make sure that you check that one out. And then YouTube actually has an audio library with free music as well. So all you have to do is search for whatever you are looking for. Let's type in Supernatural again. Spelled it right this time. And then you can just see if you can find something that you like. And then each one of these will have the instructions for how you're allowed to use them and how you need to provide credit and attribution for those songs in the description of your video. So that's what I did for music. Again, I only did this little 30-second long thing. So there's some ideas. Play with your editor. I think the biggest thing that makes things look spooky and creepy are going to be the color. So doing things with the color, doing things with the music, and then breaking up your footage in ways that just looks unnatural. Anything unnatural is going to be probably pretty creepy. Now, if you remember from a few months ago, I did a tutorial on getting started using Wondershare Filmora, and I just want to show you a few things using that software because they have some filters and overlays and things that are specifically designed for spooky, creepy Halloween type of stuff. So I imported the same exact footage that I was just using in Premiere Pro, and I've got one clip down here on the timeline. I haven't done anything to it. I'm just going to do it all right now. So the first thing I'm going to do is come over here to filters and then come down the list to Halloween. And so there are some things that we can do here if we like the red, if we like the green. So I'm just dragging these down to see how they look. Here's a negative. Ooh, that's creepy. So this one's called Rapid Flash. I don't even know. Let's see. Down. Okay, now pop your head up. Okay, so that's like, it looks like lightning kind of. So that's kind of interesting. That's pretty cool. Let's see if there's anything under overlays. They have a Christmas thing. Let's look at damaged film. What does it look like? All right, so it has some creepy lines in there that you can see here. So I think that adds probably an element of creepiness to it. There's a few different versions of damaged film. And right now, back up a little bit. Yeah, they all look creepy enough to me. There's also grunge, and there's this TV static. What does this look like? Yeah, so I think it's kind of cool that Filmora just kind of has these things like literally ready to go. Whereas with Premiere Pro, you can do all that stuff. It's going to be pretty custom. So with Filmora, it's like literally you just slap those filters and overlays on there and you are good to go. So if you have Wondershare Filmora and you want to make a creepy video, then you might want to go this route. So there you have it. Hopefully that was helpful for you. I wish you luck in creating your really creepy videos. And if you use a GoPro and you're not in my GoPro Enthusiast Facebook group, you can go to GoProenthusiast.com to join there, and then you can post your creepy Halloween GoPro video there so that I can see it. And give this video a little bit of love wherever the button is. I think it's down there. And also subscribe. Thanks. Bye. I'll just sit here and make weird faces. Oh my gosh. Really loud traffic. Yeah, those are motorcycles. Thank you, Harley dudes. There I have it. There I have it. There you have it. There we have it. This is the 5th video that I have recorded today.